And I pulled him aside. I said, T, his name is Tavares. I said, T, stop singing. It's not your gift. Your gift is over here preaching. Start doing this. Okay? Leave the singing to people that can sing. Y'all follow me? My point being is that he was excited about doing this because he saw other people doing this, and he liked doing that, but he wasn't skilled in doing that. He didn't have the talent to do that. He just wanted to do what he saw. When his talent was over here. Y'all following that?
Yes, sir.
His gift was over here. Oftentimes we want to gravitate toward the things that we see others like, but that may not be my talent. It may not be my gift. So I've got to learn to find my place of service in the kingdom. If I just read announcements, I do that to the best of my ability. If I'm ushering, I do that to the best of my ability. If it means I had to park cars when we have a big event, I do that to the greatest of my ability. Read script, whatever the case happens to be. Now, that's service related, but what about outside of Sunday? What am I doing to help expand the borders of the kingdom? Am I evangelizing? Am I inviting people? Am I encouraging people? What is it that I'm doing or not doing that I could be doing that is a service that would be rendered to the Lord's church and to the service of God's dear Son? See, God didn't just put us, an old preacher said this one time, sometimes we're like wax dummies just sitting on the pews. His point being, we come in, we sit down, we worship, we leave and do nothing. One of our slogans at Lewis Street, matter of fact, we've got two of them that are prominent. One of them is saving souls and helping souls stay saved. You'll see that on our bulletins. You'll see that on a sign across the wall. That's one of our slogans. Another is we enter to worship, we leave to serve. Okay, the premise being is that worship is worship. Okay, that's where we give honor to God in the context of worship. But what do we do on the outside of the Lord's Day?
That's right. What do we take away what we learned?
Yeah, but how do I engage other people? How am I helping expand the borders of the church? What am I doing that needs to be done, or what am I not doing that needs to be done that will help? See, this lesson in the Luke, the John 13 text, Jesus saw a need, and he fulfilled that need. And it was that need that he used to teach a lesson. I've got a young preacher at Lewis Street. His name is Travion Saxton. Travion's been in the church almost 5 years now. We baptized him. His father, matter of fact, was in prison over here, federal prison over here. His father's name is Errol Scott. Errol Scott, if you know anything about Little Rock, there was a documentary called Bangin' in Little Rock and Bangin' in Little Rock 2. Okay, it was about the gang violence in Little Rock. Believe it or not, on a per capita basis, in the early 90s, it was worse in places like Baltimore, Washington, D.C., L.A., and other places. It was a mess back then. Well, the drugs and the guns that got brought into Little Rock in the early 1990s was brought into Little Rock by Errol Scott, Travion's father. Travion was called, his nickname was Little Prince, because he was supposed to become his father's replacement. Y'all following this? But the Lord got a hold of Travion first, before that transpired. We baptized Trey at age 19. He's 24ish now, going on 25. And Trey is now a young preacher. Not preaching for me today, but every so often I'll let him preach while I'm out of town. But the interesting thing about Trey, and there's a lesson here, Trey is very shy, very reserved. So when he was trying to find his place in the church, whenever we would have a fellowship, he'd just go fill up the cups with ice and some water. That's all he did. He found something that needed to be done, and he did it. Didn't complain, didn't look for any glory, didn't look at any position. He just found that particular area and did that to the best of his ability. I just watched him. Okay, there's some potential in this young fella. He don't mind serving. So then I gave him the responsibility for the sign in front of the property. Trey, put the slogan up if you would, please. You know, sometimes he kind of lax and take his time. Sometimes he get right on it. So I get on him. But then I gave him something else and gave him something else. And we'd start sitting down. We start studying. I'd do more words. Before you know it, he's preaching. And since then, we have baptized his mother. And one of the young men that was with his mother, that was dating his mother, a gentleman by the name of Davis, his last name is Davis, he was actually in the video. He was actually in the documentary as a boy on a bicycle when the coroner was talking to these kids in an open parking lot, showing gruesome details of coroner photographs. This guy, we baptized him. So we baptized him. We baptized Trey first. Trey, as a result of Trey, we baptized his mother, her mother's boyfriend at the time. We baptized his brother, and we baptized his father, Earl Scott, who was a drug runner. All of them are now members of the Lord's church. But it all started with Travion filling some cups. And now he's writing and doing all these different things now because he was willing to do whatever he saw was necessary at the time. Service. You see, our brotherhood, whether it be here in Memphis or whether it be in Arkansas or all over our brotherhood, we need more servant-oriented men than men that are striving for position. Because if we strive for the service, God will give us the position. See, oftentimes we try to preempt God. Y'all still with me?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you something else, and I'll wrap this up. We've got a lot of different influences in the church. And matter of fact, to turn your Bibles real quickly over to, if you don't mind, turn over to Matthew chapter 20. Matthew 20.
Jack, if you would,
Yes.
if you would, before you close out, we were talking about different things that's going on in the brotherhood.
Oh Lord.
Yes, sir. If you would, just give them just a taste of what you see in your travels. And
Okay.
Your experience,
Okay.
if you would, before we close.
Okay. Be happy to. Matthew, matter of fact, what time do you normally shut down?
10 o'clock.
At 10? Okay. All right. Let's do this one piece, then we'll move forward from there. This is a scenario of the sons of Zebedee where they're looking for a position. Look real quickly at verse number. Well, let's pick up at verse number 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left in thy kingdom. Now, I want to stress that they still have a messed up perspective of the kingdom. Okay? This perspective of the kingdom would translate all the way into Acts chapter 1, right before he ascends.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Will thou at this time set up the kingdom? Okay? They still don't understand. And so he says, I'll send you the promise of my Father, and he'll bring all those things into remembrance, whether it be Acts chapter 1 or Luke chapter 24 and passages like that. So they have a perspective of the kingdom being that of an earthly kingdom and one that has power and position. Now, but Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. And here's what I want you to consider. Be careful. Be careful what you looking for, because you just might get it. Then you're gonna be in trouble. Okay, you better know what you're asking for, and know what comes along with it. When people, I want to be a preacher. You better know what you're asking for. I want to be an elder or a deacon. You better know what you're thinking about, because with that comes some challenges. I'm gonna be talking about that this morning. I saw how beautiful is the next step. But along with that beautiful step comes some hard steps along the way too. I'm going to be talking about some of that. Now,